Chapter 2 Sorry, my newlywed husband. Although confused, Belinda obediently followed them to the hospital director's office. Shane was slouched on the sofa, his tall frame perfectly straight and imposing. Only a careful observer would notice the faint paleness of his thin lips. The hospital's antiseptic smell masked the faint scent of blood on him. Dressed in a pure black suit, his face exuded a sharp, commanding aura forged through countless storms. Just one look from him was enough to make anyone tremble with fear. His assistant walked behind Shane, leaned down, and whispered, "All the surveillance footage from last night was deliberately destroyed. It must have been done by those who were after you, to avoid leaving any evidence. This is the doctor who was on duty last night, Belinda Ayers." The director confirmed it, and I checked the duty roster myself. She was indeed on duty last night. Shane looked up. Belinda gasped sharply, "Wasn't this the CEO of Skyreach Corporation? Was it you who helped me last night?" Shane's gaze now held a hint of scrutiny. Belinda immediately lowered her eyes, not daring to meet his. "Why yes, it was me." She wasn't sure what exactly had happened last night, but she knew that getting close to him could only bring benefits. It was also the perfect timing, as she was about to start her internship at the 2nd Military District General Hospital. Everyone knew that once they went there, they would likely stay. The resources there were far superior to those here. If she could get Shane's support, securing a position at the 2nd Military District General Hospital would be a sure thing. "I can give you anything you want, including marriage," Shane said, his usually stern face softening slightly at the thought of last night. The good fortune came so quickly that Belinda was at a loss for words. "Think it over. You can come find me when you've made up your mind." Shane stood up and instructed his assistant to give her his contact information. The hospital director personally came to see him off. "Mr. Robinson." "No need to see me off," Shane said with his usual cold demeanor. As if remembering something, he paused for a moment. "Please take good care of her in the hospital." "Don't worry, I will," the director replied with a fawning smile. Once they were sure no one could hear, the assistant whispered, "Sir, you are already married. Your marriage." It seemed he couldn't make any promises to Miss Ayers. Thinking of the woman who had been forced upon him, Shane's expression darkened, and a cold smile curled at the corner of his lips. "She's having a death wish." The assistant shivered, unsure if Shane was referring to the woman he married or the person who orchestrated the whole affair. Caller returned to the villa, her new husband's residence. "Mrs. Robinson." Mrs. Ford greeted her as soon as she stepped inside. "Why were you out all night?" "I had an unexpected shift," Callie replied softly. Her eyes were red, and she looked exhausted. Seeing how tired she was, Mrs. Ford didn't press further. Callie went upstairs and soaked herself in the bathtub. As she recalled what had happened the previous night, her cheeks began to burn, and she buried her face in her arms. Her feelings were quite complicated. After all, she had given herself to a man she barely knew. Moreover, she was married. It seemed she was betraying her newlywed husband, Shane Robinson. After taking a shower, she got dressed and headed out the door. She didn't go straight to the hospital for work. She was out so early because she needed to visit the inpatient ward. Her mother was in the ICU. Entering the room, she checked on her mother's condition, which was still as dire as ever. Her mood inevitably sank. Her mother had heart failure, and it was in the terminal stage. The only way to prolong her life was a heart transplant, which required a significant amount of money for the surgery. She had agreed to marry into the Robinson family because her father had threatened that he wouldn't pay for her mother's medical expenses if she refused. Now, all they needed was a suitable heart, and her mother would be saved. Looking at her mother, she spoke in a low, hoarse voice, "Mom, I will definitely cure you." Her mother was the person she was closest to in this world. Buzz, buzz. The phone in her pocket vibrated. "Callie, please do me a favor," came the voice from the other end of the line. Chapter 3 The Injured Man. The call was from her senior